Abigail is out in theaters this weekend, and I'm going to do something I don't think I would have ever expected to do with a movie. Give two versions of a non-spoiler review. Usually I would cut to a trailer right now off that intro, but the reason why I'm not is because Abigail's trailer, while it doesn't spoil most of this movie per se, definitely spoils a major element of this movie. So I'm not going to talk about it in this first part. I'm going to go over my basic review of this if somebody hasn't seen the trailer, because I think this movie probably works better if you haven't seen an Abigail trailer. The main plot of the movie is kind of a group of criminals or would-be criminals, whatever you want to call them, kidnap this young daughter who we see doing ballerina in the beginning of the movie, doing ballet, in hopes of getting ransom from her father, who we assume is some type of millionaire, billionaire type individual. We then find out that her father is a crime lord type individual, and things in this house where they're watching her for 24 hours starts going awry. And that's where I'm going to leave you off, because I think that's all the trailer should have been or let you know. And I think you would have had an interesting premise with this a pretty solid cast all around, and delivered, I think, a wild movie people weren't expecting. And when I think about this cast and the stands out, the child who was abducted, played by Alicia Weir, who is coming off not just an amazing performance in Matilda, but she was just in a Wicked Little Letters for Me recently. She does an amazing job as Abigail in this movie, as portraying a young daughter who is been kidnapped, and you question whether or not her father is going to care enough to get her. And I think Alicia Weir delivers all the different type of emotions you need to, hits all the type of, different type of beats she needs to. For a very young preteen or teen actress, she is really coming out and being the star in this movie for me. Her ballet scenes, I think, work very well. And I come out of this movie saying, when are we going to see her in next? Because I think not only is she a star kind of coming out of this movie, I think she's going to be a star for the future for many years to come. And she's my pick if they do a Hermione Granger casting pretty soon for the Harry Potter series. She might be getting too old for it, but I think Alicia Weir would be perfect casting if they continue kind of portraying her in that Hermione Emma Watson type way. I know Cursed Child had kind of a different take on Hermione, so maybe they'll go that way with the modern one, but we'll see. But she was my standout per se. Joining her was a pretty well-rounded cast. The late Angus Cloud plays kind of like this low life bum, drugged individual. Melissa Barrera is kind of our lead final lady, or lead lady in general of Joey. Catherine Newton, who had decent reviews from Lisa Frankenstein. Now she's in this movie. I think she delivers a pretty good job overall. My personal standout of all these type of minor characters is Kevin Durand. He played Peter, and he kind of played what I would love to call the Drax role, which is being kind of the big, beefy, loud, stupid idiot. But he hit it down, and I gotta say, I'm not gonna try to spoil the trailers, but I thought he looks just like Elon Musk. Let's put a picture up of him and Elon Musk in this, him in this movie and Elon Musk. Am I crazy for thinking they look very similar? And I thought for so long was Elon Musk in this movie. There's no way. And then Dan Stevens kind of comes in as another standout individual actor. I forget what his name was in the actual movie. They kind of go by, since they're kidnapping and they're kind of working as criminals. So one of the rules is nobody learns each other's names and learning backstories. He plays kind of the leader of this group, Pseudo, who's been hired, and a lot of conflict between him and Melissa Barrera's character throughout. And I think Dan Stevens does a general good job after, with this hot coming off Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. Giancarlo Esposito is in it briefly in points, and you get kind of his normal Giancarlo Esposito self. And then William Catlett is kind of like a forgotten character. He's kind of like the what's going to happen with this character type individual. And I just overall came out of this movie really enjoying the thrilling natures of it, enjoying the kinds of twists and turns. And if you're somebody who hasn't seen the trailer for this, I think Abigail is going to succeed very, very much on those twists and turns and gives you a movie maybe you aren't expecting totally. I would give this a solid gold rating. Something that if you want to see in theaters, I think you would go and have a great time. If you want to wait for streaming and watch it, I would recommend watching it on streaming because I think you'd also have a great time. The cast does their jobs very well. Duran, Newton are my two standouts in terms of the protagonists per se. Alicia Weir and company are definitely the MVP of the antagonist side. And I really enjoyed Abigail. Now, for those who see the trailer, let's start talking.
I like playing with my food.
Whoa! She's fucking flying! I fucking hate ballet.
That's right. A good third portion of this movie is dedicated to wondering who is Abigail and what is going on in this house. And of course, as us seeing the trailers, we know that Abigail is a vampire, and we know she's probably the one who is causing issues throughout the house. And I don't know why we had to see this in the trailer. Don't get me wrong, I still think the movie works overall knowing this going in, but when you know what's going on from the moment one, I do think this movie has some issues with catching you up to it. I do think, even though it's an hour and 50 minutes, I do think it's about 15-ish minutes too long. Maybe we could have scraped some stuff off. Maybe we could have done different twists, or cut out some twists here and there. Some early dialogue per se. But I still say the standout for me is Alicia Weir as Abigail. All of those scenes with her as a vampire will deliver for you. And not only that, when she kind of goes into a very dramatic self-individual, she nails all the beats very, very well. She, to me, is the outstanding star of this movie, and just watching her performance alone is worth the price of a ticket. Catherine Newton and her character Sammy and her journey, again, I really loved Catherine Newton in this movie. I think she has the most interesting journey of all the kidnappers in this movie. So, and I think Newton brings out the most overall. And Duran, like I said, he plays the dumb, funny guy just so well, big, strong. And he really was able to get laughs and keep you engaged in the story throughout the whole entire way. As far as Barrera and Dan Stevens, like I talked about earlier, they butt heads a lot, and I think they do add things to the movie, and I'm engaged with their characters. But I do not like them as much as Newton and Duran in this movie. Like I said before, it's giving it this a gold rating, and and that's even with knowing that Abigail is a vampire and kind of some of the plot twists that are being shown in this movie. I do think the trailers reveal too much, and I know they were using that as kind of like a how can we get people in theaters, and hopefully it will do that because I think we have ourselves a very good horror thriller movie, and it's one that I really enjoyed. So if you've seen the trailer, I still recommend it. If you haven't seen the trailer, why are you still watching this part? I just spoiled a very first, end of first act type plot for you, and shame on you. But Abigail is a movie that I really enjoyed, and I recommend you go see in theaters, and if not, definitely catch it on streaming.
Guys.
Oh no!
What the fuck is that thing? We kidnapped a fucking vampire. A ballerina vampire.